What financial advisors are fiduciaries? Big question. That's the F word. It's a good F word, though. Hi there, my name is Jordan Schwartz. I'm a licensed financial advisor with Strategic Wealth Designers, and today I am here to do the bold and the daring, answer the internet's most asked financial questions. Okay, so I have no idea what's happening here right now. So the first question is, what financial advisors, see if I can peel this off, what financial advisors do? So I'm guessing this question is, what does a financial advisor do? That's a super loaded question. There's a bunch of things a financial advisor can do, but I think the simplest thing a financial advisor does is they help people, whether it's retirement planning, building assets for retirement, or just simply answering questions. I think that's the biggest thing. What financial advisor, man, these are making me so nervous. I'm like, am I gonna get stumped here? What financial advisor should I use? I talk about this all the time in a retirement class that I teach. What financial advisor should I use? I think there's two different ways to look at this. So the first key criteria is you've got to work with what's called a fiduciary. So a fiduciary is the type of financial advisor who's going to act in the client's best ethical, legal, and moral best interest. Now, to keep it super simple, the SEC a little while ago changed some of the laws, and they made all advisors act as fiduciaries. Well, some of the businesses, some of the bigger firms, they're still doing a lot of what they did before. So, maybe one way of looking at it is, I like personally the idea of an independent fiduciary. So like, they're not captive to any one particular company. They're basically captive to you. They can go out to the entire investment world and find whatever makes the most sense. The second thing, what financial advisor should I use? I look at it like this, right? There's two distinct phases for retirement planning. There's the accumulation phase where you're building money and you're growing money. And then the second phase is what's called the distribution phase, where like money's not going into the account, money's coming out of the account. So I think relative to where you're at in your life, I would try to focus more on an advisor who's either focused for accumulation or like the distribution where money's coming out of the account. Easiest way is if you're outside of 10 years from retirement, it would be better to work with like an accumulation advisor, or even in that situation, you could probably do it on your own. If you're within 10 years from retirement though, that's the time where I like people to start shifting towards using more of a distribution advisor where they need help with like income planning, tax planning, estate planning, things like long-term care, all that boring stuff that I find super entertaining. So what financial advisor should I use? There's your two pieces right there. Here's my next question. What financial advisors are fiduciaries? Big question. That's the F word. It's a good F word, though. Okay, so what financial advisors are fiduciaries? What happened recently was, before there were two types of advisors. There were advisors who would operate under the fiduciary standard, and that's basically the advisors acting in your best ethical, moral, and legal best interest. And then the other type of advisor is what was called the suitability standard. And their recommendations would be based to people based on what was like suitable. So it worked, but it wasn't necessarily in the client's best interest. It's awesome. The SEC, Securities Exchange Commission, recently came out with some laws that make all advisors act as fiduciaries. But kind of like I said just a minute ago with that other question, what I would be looking at a little bit more is an independent fiduciary, because sometimes that fiduciary word, like best interest, it can get a little watery. So I'd make sure you're working with an independent fiduciary who's not what's called like captive, where they're not recommending a certain product to you because that's what their firm allows them to do. They got the entire investment world to go out and do that. I'm looking to get stumped here. What's this last guy? So what do I need before seeing a financial advisor? That's a good question. Okay, so what do I need before seeing a financial advisor? So here's what I would do. So if you're in the decision-making process, or you're right now kind of like looking for someone to help you with your retirement planning, the first thing that I would do is I would do your research. I love whenever people will go online. There's businesses like the Better Business Bureau. Any good financial advisors are going to have like all their, you can look them up on the SEC, where you can see, do they have like a muddy background or like a squeaky clean boring background? That's a great place, is look them up and see what clients are saying. It's one thing for someone to tell you they're trustworthy or they're going to do a good job with your retirement planning. It's way more important that their clients actually say that. What do I need before seeing a financial advisor? I would look and see what's their track record. How long have they been around? What's their reputation? How do their clients feel? And what have they done to help impact the community and the individuals that they serve? Cool. All right, so we've got a second set. So we got some hows here. Okay, so how, here we go, let me pull this off. How do I work with a financial advisor? That's a good question. Well, there's like three main ways that a financial advisor will actually help and work with people. So there's kind of three ways an advisor gets paid that kind of impacts how the relationship looks. So there's what's called fee only, there's fee based, and then there's commission based. And this is generally how most advisors are going to operate within these three different realms. So the first one would be like fee only. The way fee only basically works is you would say to someone like, okay, Jordan, make me a plan, and then I'll execute it on my own. That's for those out there who are like more kind of like what I would call as like a do-it-yourself investor, where you like doing it on your own. You want to maintain, kind of keep both hands on the wheel, but you also feel like I need someone to help fill in my blind spots. So that would be the first way, is basically someone would make you a plan and then you do all your stuff on all your investment management and all those things on your own. Now, for those who do not want to sit in front of a computer screen for 6 hours a day, the second way would be fee-based. And that would be, you would say, okay, I want someone to help manage my money for me. Now, what that person would do is they would manage the assets on your behalf based on the parameters that y'all set together, right? It needs to be kind of a collective thing where, they're not running rogue doing crazy stuff. There's got to be parameters set. And then what they would do is they would charge a percentage fee of assets under management. That can range anywhere between 0.5 to 1.5% per year, or 2% per year, somewhere around there. The third way is commission-based, and there's a lot of negative stigmas with commission-based. I want to spend a little bit of time breaking this down though, because commission-based products aren't bad. There's some annuities out there that are commission-based that can be really good for certain people in retirement. Certain insurance strategies that can help with tax-free and a little bit of like long-term care, chronic care stuff. So commission-based products aren't bad. The way I would look at this is if the advisor's only operating in one of these three different environments, that's where it starts to get a little dicey. I think whoever you're working with should be able to operate in kind of those three different arenas, and then really whatever the fees should be really right at around like 99% of the time, like 1% or less. Okay, so the next one, how can I be a financial advisor? That's an awesome question. And I think this is really important right now, because if you look at the average or like the median age of a financial advisor, it's like mid-50s. So what I've seen too with like a lot of my clients is a lot of their advisors are retiring and they're like, okay, who do I work with? So how can I be a financial advisor? If you're watching this and you're sitting out there and you're potentially considering pursuing it, I love financial advising. I have a field day doing this stuff. I get to help people. I get to talk to people about retirement planning, and it's a bunch of fun. So I love it. I think the first thing is getting your licenses. So there's a few different licenses you can get. I know for me personally, I have what's called a Series 65, which means I'm what's called, big words, easy meaning, an investment advisor representative. And then I also have what's called a health and life insurance license if a client of mine maybe needs an annuity for income or safety, or they need some insurance for whatever the purpose is. So those are the two licenses that I have. So I think the first thing would be, if you are wanting to be a financial advisor, looking at those licenses and then finding a firm that fits your goals. I would look, and really what I would do is, if you're in the situation thinking maybe I want to be an advisor, I would really think about what kind of institution do I want to be with and align with. And I'll tell you this, if you're thinking about being an advisor, I love it. I would pursue it. We need you in the world. There's 20,000 people a day retiring, and not necessarily enough people to help them. Great question. Let's see what we got here. How financial advisors get clients. Yeah, so that's important. How do you help families? Well, I think there's a lot of different ways. We will help some people who are watching videos like this. We have books our company has published. We have a small podcast that we do. We teach a retirement class. We have some events. We do appreciation events for our clients where they bring friends. So there's a lot of different ways that a financial advisor can help clients and get clients. I think the biggest one is, when you're meeting with someone, be honest and authentic and really be a congruent, consistent person. They'll be able to see that. And I think how a financial advisor can get a client, the better that you are and the more that you care about people, I think the more people you're going to be able to help. That's an awesome question. So here we go. How much should I pay for financial advisors? I love this question. So the way that I look at it is, and this is like probably 99% of the time, the most you should ever pay a financial advisor is 1% or less. Now here's where it gets a little tricky, because some people have what are called like double dip accounts, where the advisor's taking 2 scoops of the ice cream. They only paid for 1, but they're taking 2 scoops. So scoop number 1 is for the advisor to manage the portfolio. Now what happens a lot of times though is they'll outsource all of that work to maybe like mutual fund companies or other institutions like that. and they're not always free. So you want to make sure that when you ask an advisor how much I'm paying in fees, if they tell you 1%, it should be the entire cost of the overall strategy is 1% or less, not the advisor's 1% and then other stuff. You may be paying more if you have an advisor than what you're actually doing right now. So you want to be careful with that. I'm super excited for this one. Ooh, very nice. I like this question. Okay, how important are financial advisors? I'm biased because I am one. I think they're super important, right? If you look, everybody at some point in time wants to retire. Everybody. At some point in time, most everybody is going to want to retire. So how important are advisors? You know, my mentor and the CEO of Strategic Wealth Designers, you know, he told me this one time, and I think it's a beautiful example of this. A financial advisor, you know, we can't save, you know, souls. We're not in the religious field doing those types of things. We can't save lives. We're not physicians. We're not doctors. You know, we're not you know, folks who resuscitate people with ambulances. But what a financial advisor, I think, can do is they can save lifestyles. And to me, that's incredibly important. If you look at, you know, one of the number one reasons of divorce is money stress. If you look at like conflict growing up in a house, a lot of it's fights about money. I really think an advisor can play a massive impact in taking some of the stress and the fear off of people's shoulders. So how important is a financial advisor? I'm being biased here, but I'd say on a scale of 1 to 10, a 10. Well, Internet, I've done it. I've answered the Internet's most asked financial questions. If you would love me to do this again, leave a comment below. Definitely like this, and go ahead and smash that subscribe button, and we will see you next time.